Thank you for being with us. I'm so sorry that you're joining us under these circumstances for the entire community. I want to ask you, Governor DeSantis just spoke about the shooting a short time ago. Let's play part of it.
Florida, the state, and its people condemn the horrific racially motivated murders perpetrated by a deranged scumbag in Jacksonville at the Dollar General store. Perpetrating violence of this kind is unacceptable, and targeting people due to their race has no place in the state of Florida.
What do you make of that condemnation?
What I make of that condemnation is hollow statements. This is a governor who has done nothing but fan these types of happenings throughout our state. Look, at the end of the day, the governor has blood on his hands. He has had an all-out attack on the Black community. With his anti-woke policies, which we know very well was nothing more than a dog whistle to get folks up and riled up in the way in which it just happened on yesterday. As I listened to him for the first time with that statement, my blood is literally boiling. Myself and other representatives, particularly Black representatives, throughout the past few legislative sessions, we have repeatedly told him what his rhetoric was going to do. And that is exactly what transpired on yesterday. This is absurd. It's ridiculous. He is one of the causes to this. This is an agenda that he has been pushing since he has gotten into office. He showed us who he was when he initially ran for governor, saying, don't monkey this around, don't monkey this up. Those type of statements, it only leads to things like this.
Representative Nixon, I appreciate just so much emotion in what you're talking about. I can only imagine what you and your community are going through right now. And we know that before arriving at the Dollar General, the shooter briefly drove to Edward Waters University, a historically Black school, calls itself Florida's first institution for the education of African Americans. How important is the school to that community? And what do you make of him going there and the fact that security stopped him and made sure that he left campus?
First of all, I want to give my condolences to the victims, the families of the victims. I am happy that security stepped up and did their job and were able to save lives. Look, again, we have leadership across this state, Republican leadership across this state, who are doing everything to continually attack Black lives, right? They are doing everything to erase Black history. They are feeding our children propaganda. All that does is lead to the devaluation of Black lives. This guy, he had no respect for the Black community. He had no respect. And my colleagues who are in leadership need to stand up and stop the mansplaining and the gaslighting and the misogynoir and the racist rhetoric that they spew time and time again on the House floor and the Senate chambers. Let's be clear. This is the same state legislature that just recently passed a bill to rename a portion of our roadways after Rush Limbaugh. That is what we're dealing with here in the state of Florida. That is why I am so angry. And then we have a very vindictive governor who, if we speak out, we're punished as elected officials. Along with Representative McCarty, sat on that House floor when he unconstitutionally came after 2 congressional Black districts to remove them. I was placed in a basement with rats because I stood up for my community. I am more than angry. And now there are 3 families that no longer have their family members to come home to. This is here in Florida. Governor DeSantis and the Republican Party of Florida are doing nothing but hurting us. And I am angry, and I will not continue to sit idly by.
Representative, we hear your words loud and clear, and we want to keep talking with you. The gunman used an AR-style rifle. We know that there's debate over whether to focus on this crisis at gun reform, the state level or nationally, or whether it's a mental health crisis or both. For states like Florida, where gun laws are really only ever loosened these days, and it feels like, and we know that Democrats are the minority in the state legislature, what do you look for change? I mean, do you feel like the answer's in Washington?
I feel like it has to be a top-down, bottom-up approach, right? I feel that all of the elected leaders need to come together and push out this hateful rhetoric, which has just been exacerbated since around 2015, 2016. I feel that our community members we need to hold us elected officials accountable. We work for you, right? We work for you, and you need to hold us accountable, not just at the ballot box, but year round. You need to push the policies that you deserve, right? And you know, at the end of the day, we need common sense gun reform. We do, but also as elected officials, we need to be accountable for the words that come out of our mouths time and time again, for the policies that we push, for the communities and families that we are hurting. I have families calling me day in and day out saying they can no longer afford Florida. They do not feel safe. The NAACP issuing a travel advisory, that is real. That is what's happening in the state of Florida. And yet, time and time again, when I am on the House floor, when I am telling all the folks what's happening in our state, in the House floor from leaders, we get microaggressions. We get, oh, that's not real. But again, you have a governor who cares more about pandering to a base of voters, not even caring about what's happening here in our state of Florida and the 8,000 educator shortage that we have, right? The property insurance crisis that we're dealing with, the rising rent cost. No, he wants to be vindictive to Black folks because it gives him points in poll numbers. That's what we're dealing with. America, you are in danger, girl. We must stop Ron DeSantis in his tracks. I am not an angry Black woman. I am a woman who is speaking truth to power to let you all know this man means us no good. And it is evident by what transpired here yesterday in Jacksonville, Florida.
State Representative Angie Nixon.